史上最速のヒーロー彼の名は
Oh my God! Flash!
Hi.
I love you!
Thank you. You seem very nice.
Oh my God!
その速すぎる能力で
Whoa.
時間を超え過去へ
So we're like in the future. No, wait, we're not in the future. I was supposed to be back in the present, but I'm still in the past. And there's not supposed to be two of me. Hey, do the thing again. Fine. I went back in time to save my mom. But I completely destroyed history.
蘇ってしまったのは最強の敵
And you changed the past. You changed the future.
I created a world with no metahumans.
Want some help? I'm Batman. This world must die.
What's the play? Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
Let's go!
What did you do?
No! Nobody dies!
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my new Flash trailer video. There's a whole bunch of new footage in an international version of the trailer. Like, it's a completely different trailer, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I'll do a giveaway for movie tickets when we get a little bit closer to the movie actually coming out. And big reminder, too, there's a big Snyder Con that's happening right now. He might release some new deleted scenes or some new footage. So if anything cool winds up coming from that, of course, I'll do videos for it as well. The big news, too, is that Henry Cavill's Superman actually is featured in the movie. We thought that he'd been taken out because he did film new scenes as Superman, but it was meant to set up this big Crisis on Infinite Earths that they were building to, like a previous 10-year plan before they hired James Gunn and he rebooted DC movies into the DCU. So a lot of the cameo scenes from characters like Henry Cavill's Superman in particular in a lot of these different films that are coming out this year had to be changed because they didn't want to set up things that they would never wind up paying off. But reportedly after that, they still feature Henry Cavill's Superman in the movie, but it's footage from the Justice League Snyder Cut. Previously, we just thought that they completely cut him out of the movie. There's also supposed to be some Wonder Woman in the movie as well, too. I'll explain because Ben Affleck made it sound like she's actually still in the movie, like they didn't completely cut her scene out. The director Andy Muschietti also said that they would probably do a Flash sequel movie like The Flash 2 if this movie does well enough. And the way everyone who's seen it is reacting to it, they're talking about it like it's going to cure cancer on planet Earth. Like that's how good it's supposed to be. And they'll just find some way of saying how this ties into James Gunn's rebooted DCU. The funny thing about all these actors in DC movies being recast is that the movies are successful enough, like if they make enough money, the ones that are still coming out this year, the actors will come back. That's why we probably won't see a ton of the Shazam characters or like The Rock's Black Adam character coming back, just because those movies were not viewed as being financially successful. Blue Beetle is like the next chance of a character coming back. The way James Gunn talks about it, he does make it sound like Blue Beetle will be part of his new Gods and Monsters DC Chapter 1. But the new trailer starts with him in Central City in the new Flash suit. Maybe it's one of the first times that he's wearing it. The whole idea is that Ben Affleck's Batman is the one who creates the Flash ring from the comics, which contains the Flash suit. Like the suit comes out of the ring, just like the comics. They did a version of that on the Flash TV show several seasons ago, so up to this point, he just continued to use his suit inside the Flash ring. This scene begins with him bursting out of the diner, and it's meant to be a reference to the Justice League Snyder Cut scene of him doing something similar, like he was inside a business and saves Iris West during a car crash that she was having, and you see how the Speed Force works around him. It was meant to be kind of a tutorial in how the Flash looks in the Justice League Snyder Cut. Andy Muschietti, the director of this movie, hasn't changed too much about the way the Flash moves, the way his powers work. They tuned up the visualization just a little bit, and I know there's some questions about why the color of his Speed Force lightning changes. I'll explain that when we get to that part of the trailer, too. For the most part, they're trying to keep as much continuity between the Justice League Snyder Cut and this movie. This time at the beginning of the trailer, the reason why he's in the coffee shop wearing the business suit is because he's been working at the Central City Police Department as a forensic investigator, just like he was in the comics and just like he is in the Flash TV show with the Grant Gustin version. Within the movies, he got the job right at the end of the Justice League Snyder Cut, like he was bragging to his father, look, I applied for a job at the Central City Police Department, and it was meant to be them starting to do the comic book origin of the character. The other joke here, too, is that he changes into his Flash suit using the Flash ring inside the bathroom of the coffee shop just to hide his secret identity, which is a reference to the classic Superman trope of changing in phone booths in the comics, the cartoons, the Christopher Reeve version of Superman. They had a couple of jokes about that when they got to the Brandon Routh Superman Returns movie, too. He was supposed to be the same version of Superman as the Christopher Reeve version, just a little bit older. Another fun connection to Crisis on Infinite Earths in the DC TV shows is that when he came back during that on Earth 96, he was meant to be the same version as his version from Superman Returns. The reason why it was Earth 96, though, is because during Crisis on Infinite Earths, they were saying that the events of the Kingdom Come storyline happened on his Earth to his character, and it was published in 1996. The joke that they begin the trailer on, though, is because this is happening after the events of the Justice League Snyder Cut. He's been taking down other Flash rogues and criminals in Central City for a little while. On top of that, he started to become a celebrity in the news, like the dude on the street pulls out his cell phone and starts taking clips of him. Like, that's been happening for a while now. But the funny thing is that during Crisis on Infinite Earths, they actually gave him the Flash name. I don't know if that's going to stick, or if Iris West during the movie is going to give him the Flash name, because that's the way they did on the TV show. Iris West is the person who called him the Flash. The joke during Crisis on Infinite Earths is that even during the Justice League Snyder Cut, like even up to that point, all of Ezra Miller's time as the Flash, nobody had ever called him the Flash in any of the movies.
I'm also the Flash.
You're also the what?
The Flash?
The Flash.
It's complicated.
So when Grant Gustin had that moment telling him, I'm the Flash, he was hearing it for the first time like the Flash. Wow, that actually sounds like a pretty cool name. I do expect at some point during the movie, somebody will refer to him as the Flash. There's a bunch more scenes of him talking to the younger version of himself from 10 years ago. He's meant to be 10 years younger. It's 2013, right before the events of the Man of Steel movie when Zod attacks, which was released in real life in 2013. So they're saying the movies have kind of been moving in real time for the most part. That's why there's an Inception poster and a Pacific Rim poster, mostly because these movies came out relatively recently and were pretty big right before the Man of Steel movie. The other obvious connection, too, is that Christopher Nolan sort of rebooted Batman, so to speak, made Batman cool again with the Dark Knight trilogy, the Christian Bale version of Batman. There might be an Easter egg for him somewhere in the movie. People are expecting cameos from a bunch of different characters just because there's so many opportunities when he's traveling through the Speed Force and seeing all these other timelines. It's all canon through the DC multiverse. The other reason for the Pacific Rim poster of all different types of posters you could include here is because Guillermo del Toro has a special connection with the director Andy Muschietti. So when Andy Muschietti got his start working on the film Mama, Guillermo del Toro recognized that he had a lot of potential and became an executive producer on that movie, and they became good friends. It also seems like younger Barry is a big fan of skateboarding too. Like there are a bunch of skateboards, some skateboarding posters. There's a longer scene of him explaining to younger Barry what went wrong with his time traveling when he was trying to travel through the Speed Force, messing with timelines. Mostly this is about Flashpoint and him getting over the death of his mother, like learning to accept that he can't change the past, even though he has the power to try. Just because things go completely off the rails, like that's the whole idea, is that most of them wind up learning the hard way. Like our Barry learns the lesson, but it's the younger Barry that doesn't learn the lesson and winds up going dark, turning into Dark Flash. You kind of see that later in the trailer where you see both Barrys yelling at each other, like the younger Barry saying, no, nobody dies, and it seems like they're inside the Speed Force with the energy all around them. There's a much longer scene of Ben Affleck's Batman in the present day of the movie. It seems like it's earlier in the movie, taking down some criminals in Gotham City, like it's meant to be just him on a normal day, taking down a bunch of bad guys. And it turns into a much bigger action scene. Ben Affleck said during the movie that there's a Wonder Woman scene during this, like she winds up helping save his life. She catches him with the lasso of truth, and because it's the lasso of truth, he winds up saying all these things and revealing all these dark truths about himself that he wouldn't have otherwise, and they treat it kind of like a funny moment. Kind of like the joke that they had with Aquaman in the lasso of truth during Justice League.
And it's my best shit I've done. I finally figured out how to play the guy.
No, really?
I got it.
For real?
I was like, hold on. I quit. I know I quit. And I know I came back to, but yeah, I got it now. But it was a scene where I get caught. I get saved by Wonder Woman during a conflagration with some bad guys. He saves me with the lasso of truth.
Yeah, sure.
And so what happens is that Batman divulges, some of his real feelings about his life and his work. And
it helps you see the character, and now you want another chance to play it.
And I was like, wait a minute, I got it. Can I, guys?
Are we still rolling? Can we write another
story of my Finland?
Then there's a scene of Supergirl taking Flash into the clouds, and it seems like this is him trying to get his powers back, and she's helping him by shocking himself with lightning, and she's taking him up into the clouds so they have a better chance of him being struck by lightning. Like I've said before, this seems like a longer version, like a crazier version of the way it goes down in the Flashpoint comics and the Justice League Flashpoint movie. The trailer footage could be a little misleading the way that they're editing it, but it seems like the way this goes down is that he tries to give his younger self Speed Force powers by recreating the accident where he originally got powers in his lab. Like, this is a scene right out of the comics with him being struck by the Speed Force lightning and all the chemicals. You notice that the lightning color is his normal lightning color, and it's striking the younger version of himself, but it arcs through him. What might wind up happening is that he gives his younger self powers, but in doing so, he actually removes his own powers, like he loses his powers. Then he has to find a way to give himself powers again, so he tries to keep shocking himself a bunch of different ways. Like, look at this crazy device here. This is obviously right out of the comics. It seems like when they're actually creating this particular device, like he's trying to shock himself inside the Batcave, you actually see the cable connected, like the lightning bolt connected to the Batwing, which is actually hovering in the air. Then a lot of you have been asking, why does the main version of Flash's color of lightning change? It's like reddish gold now. I think this is from after he gets his powers back the second time. The other funny reason why they have two different colors of lightning is so that casual viewers who don't know the Flash comics or they didn't watch the Flash TV show, when they're watching the movie on screen, they can tell the two of them apart when they're fighting each other or when they're fighting together. There's a much longer scene of them all fighting Zod and the Kryptonians with more footage of the younger Barry Allen using his powers, his homemade version of the Flash suit using one of Batman's old bat suits just spray painted. Not totally sure why Michael Keaton's Batman is falling on his knees here, probably after he ejects from the Batwing when the Kryptonian Non smashes his way into the cockpit like he did during the Man of Steel movie. There are a lot of scenes in the movie that are either parallels or exact copies of scenes from earlier movies like the Man of Steel movie and Batman 1989, obviously. I'm sure there'll be a lot more scenes like that in the movie.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Then he had us.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
This is a scene of what it looks like when the Flash is traveling through time into the Speed Force, like other timelines. Mostly, it looks like he's running in place with the multiverse, like all these other timelines, hypertime, moving around him. Then there's a cool scene of the younger Barry Allen shooting one of the Kryptonians with a bolt of Speed Force lightning before he accelerates into him, physically hitting him. The thing about the Flash is that the mass of an object increases the faster it's traveling, so when Barry is just standing around and he hits someone, like if he punched Batman just standing normally, he's not that strong, he's pretty weak, it wouldn't have any effect. But when he's traveling at super speed using the Speed Force, his body gains so much mass, it'd be like someone getting punched by Superman or someone with crazy strength. In a lot of fandoms, characters call that ability an infinite mass punch, so the Flash can do that during battles, like he just accelerates and punches someone with way higher mass. It'd be like punching someone with the force of the sun. There's supposed to be a crazy number of cameos because he is traveling through the Speed Force. He's going to be seeing a bunch of other timelines. I know people have been wondering, is Grant Gustin's Flash from the Flash TV show going to have a cameo scene? Are they going to pay off that Crisis on Infinite Earths cameo scene? I haven't seen the movie yet, but the report right now is that Grant Gustin is not in the movie. And they just didn't have enough room in the movie to have a longer scene like they did during Crisis on Infinite Earths, but there is supposed to be a CW Flash cameo scene during the movie. The real crazy thing, though, is that right now the report is that it's actually Teddy Sears' version of Jay Garrick, and if you remember, if you didn't watch the Flash TV show, he actually played a version of Hunter Zolomon Zoom who was pretending to be Jay Garrick. I don't know how they're going to explain that, like maybe he's just meant to be a regular version of Jay Garrick from another Earth. There is supposed to be a cameo from Nicolas Cage's Superman when Flash is traveling through the Speed Force. Like, it's a real quick blink and you'll miss it kind of moment, but his Superman is supposed to be fighting a giant robot spider. His movie, Superman Lives, which was going to be made by Tim Burton, they actually started a lot of pre-production. He even had a Superman suit. During the script for that movie, they actually had his character fighting a robot spider, like it was actually going to go down. They're making it seem like those events actually happened, like that movie actually happened, just in a different universe. Generally, I'm expecting a bunch of moments like that, like real quick, blink and you'll miss it, funny references to a bunch of other really obscure things in the DC history. Supposedly, there's even going to be a cameo scene from George Clooney's Batman at the end of the movie where they pay off the joke about the Flash messing up his time traveling, messing up traveling through the Speed Force, and when he's trying to go home at the end of the film, he accidentally winds up on George Clooney, Batman's Earth, meeting him, like, oh damn, I messed up again. If you spotted any other Easter eggs in this other new trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be a billion questions, and we'll start getting way more trailers for the movie in the next month. There were a bunch of other brand new trailers at CinemaCon, so I'll try to do videos for all those as quickly as possible. Also, lots to report about Galactus, the Fantastic Four movie, so there's just a lot of stuff happening right now. Don't worry, I will try to do videos for everything. Everyone click here for my other big Flash trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for that brand new Marvel Kraven the Hunter trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.